Spring is in the air. Da, 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 da,
You can
da,
change the
spring
words
is
of
in
any
the
song you
air.
like. But it goes well. It's all good. Yes, you can feel it, can't you?
Yeah.
The change of weather is coming. It's getting a bit warmer. I was walking on the beach this morning and it was misty and warm and still and
I'm loving
it's
seeing
so
everybody's
nice.
Facebook photos when they're out walking, you know,
Yes.
with the
Sunrises.
sunrise, yeah, and
Yes.
the sea, the ocean's so still at the moment. Yeah,
it is, and it's the time that everyone starts to think about, oh, I've got to get into that bathing suit
Yes.
that I haven't worn since
I
last
actually
summer.
did buy mine just last weekend.
I haven't got one yet.
And it's horrible trying on a swimsuit when you're white. It's
yes,
horrible.
true. And in the change, well, you'll be
with the bright lights.
You know how last year we talked about my swimsuit?
Yes.
And it's the same one I've had for like
30 years.
Yeah. That's the only one I have.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think I need to get out and go shopping.
Yes.
And get myself a swimsuit.
All
Anyway.
right.
So we're going to talk about, we've got exciting things happening, aren't we? Before we start talking about.
Well, what's been going on in your life
new
this
stuff
week?
going on. Oh, I don't know. I just get out walking. I'm enjoying time with the dog, calming down. There's been a lot going on in my life. My father recently passed away, and so I've been dealing with all that. So I think, when stuff like that happens, big stuff in your life too, it's always a good reminder to get the balance right.
Yes,
it's what
I
we
agree.
talk about all the time, and I think when you're in a good space to begin with, it does make those transitions easier. It's still sad. There's still things to deal with, but. Yeah, life, spring comes out, there are things to be happy and joyful about. And
Well, there is.
yeah, there's lots of things to be happy.
My
dad was 91, so
yes, bless him.
beautiful life.
Yes.
And he was happy to the end.
And he died peacefully.
Yeah, he did.
How many people wish that for their parents
Without pain.
Yeah, without pain.
And can I tell you, he was a massive believer in natural medicine. Like, he was a huge believer. So I think that was instilled for me from a young age too, about, looking after your body. He was a hard worker, believed in physical exercise. He ate well, very traditional, never takeaway. Like, my dad just did not do takeaway. So it was always home-cooked meals. And, so I think that there's definitely something to be said, when you look at the people who live for long lives in the blue zones around the world, mainly the Mediterranean kind of diets, even though we were European. But in Australia, because of the weather, you tend to eat those healthy meals.
Yes.
So, I think that's probably rubbed off on me. So hopefully I can also reach, right. Although I'm going to try and beat him because he's the oldest in our family history to date, like 91. He's been the oldest of 6 siblings. And his parents, he's outlived all of them. And so my goal is to get to 100.
Do you want to live to 90? Do you want to be that old?
Yes, because, look, especially when you're in his state of health, if you've got good mental health, his mental faculties were 100%. He was on Google every day. He fell in love with YouTube and Google. So he was having a great time.
Yeah.
And you can have a conversation. He was up to date with politics and religion and, all the things you're not allowed to talk about anymore because, but I talked about it with him. And, he was, yes, I want to be there. I want to be that mad old granny for my kids that, in my day.
I remember when.
I'm going to make them eat their veggies, eat their greens.
We had to walk 5 kilometres to school in the snow with no shoes in my day.
That's right. Well, luckily we don't have to do that.
No.
Anyway.
Well, I made a purchase this week.
Yeah, I didn't think that was yours. I thought that was somebody else's.
Yeah. So for those of you watching or listening and wondering what the silence is, I brought a truck.
What a truck. She's having a midlife crisis.
And it's a truck.
Well, I actually thought it was her son's. I thought that's a bloke's truck. That's not something a woman would go and buy. But it is something Kirsty would go and buy.
Yeah.
And you did.
Yeah, we're going camping.
You mean glamping? In the Hilton. You're going to park your truck out the front of the Hilton.
No, I'm going proper camping. I've camped all my life. Craig's never camped.
Right.
So I want to take him camping. I want him. Like Craig loves to cook, so I want to get, as long as he's near water, running water, as in like a stream or something. And he's got an open fire to cook all his mastery.
Oh,
yeah.
caveman,
he will be happy as a pig in poo.
Yeah.
He will. So yes,
awesome.
he thinks it's hilarious.
So when are you going?
Hopefully in November. I've got a spare weekend in November in between all my other social functions. And we're hoping to get in there. But yes, he thinks it's hilarious. So
Yeah.
he came home and he goes, when you said you bought a truck, he says, he said, you actually bought a truck and you got to step into it and everything. And he's like, oh my God.
Yeah. Is he going to get to drive it? Are you going to let him?
Oh, yeah, I can let him be manly.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, you know,
just for a
I'll let him
couple of
drive
Ks.
up there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But you can park it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. Anyway, parking's a whole other story.
Well,
yes.
stay tuned for the podcast we do after Kirsty's camping adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. Or everybody I know is like, please video it, because that will just go viral on TikTok.
Yes.
For both of us, it'll be hilarious. Anyhow, it's a really awesome partnership coming up with Sexy Aging.
Yes.
The wonderful Tracy. She's a New Zealand lady, actually, and she's awesome. She's
one of your tribe.
She's one of my tribe. She speaks just as fast as I do, so I understand every word that she says. And she's awesome. Like, she's got these really great programs, and it's all about embracing, you know, age and the sexiness of being, you know, mature women. So
and how to move, isn't it?
Yes.
So it's all based on movement
and
what you can do and what you should be doing at this as we get a little bit older.
Yes.
So
watch out for that. That's all coming up as well.
We'll announce things like that in our newsletter, so you can sign up for our newsletter. And obviously watch our social media, so we'll have announcements on that as well. Yeah. So make sure you follow us.
Yes, and make sure you sign up for the newsletter, because it doesn't just keep you up to date with what we do.
Yes.
We have loads of specials and special
Absolutely.
giveaways and that
Lots
for
of
people only. That we don't put out
Check
to
out
the general
specials
public.
that you get notified about. So we're on Facebook and Instagram. So make sure you follow us on all those different social media channels.
All right, that's our intro out the way. We've talked about you, we've talked about me, we've done some selling. It's time to get down to...
We're going to talk about the other little tub we have on the table. For those that can see it, but for those on our... listening to us on Spotify, we're going to talk about greens, super greens, and why they're an important part of everybody's daily diet.
Now, most people will know, anybody that's been into been taking supplements will know that greens have been around, for such a long time, especially the last 10 to 15 years. Like the super greens market a decade ago just exploded.
Well, I think too, but they came out with single greens.
Yes.
Do you remember? It wasn't combos back then. It was like kale.
Yeah.
Not
chlorella. Chlorella. Cholera is something else.
Chlorella would be good for cholera. But yeah, chlorella it's actually fantastic, because it is a heavy metal detoxifier, and it's a fantastic ingredient. I freaking love chlorella. Yeah. Really, really good.
You were right, they started off with all these single greens, and then they started to blend them together.
Yes.
And when they first hit the market, my goodness, they were revolting. Not only were they revolting, they had bits in them. Do you remember? You know,
so chlorella, spirulina, they don't blend very well, you know, and they just they don't mix very well, and they're lumpy, and there was no sweetness added to them, so they were quite raw and very earthy, dirty
tasting.
Yeah. But we fixed that.
We did.
Yeah.
We did. We listened again, because we do like to do that.
Yeah.
And then we put it all together, and we did something really simple. We just added some apple.
Which is also another green.
Added apple, and voila, we have a really nice tasting super green there. And you know, we've done that with a lot of supplements, you know, where I don't understand why these other supplement companies keep bringing out these powders that just taste awful. There's no need for it. You know, you can still add natural flavorings.
Absolutely.
Which is, you know, what we do. Yeah.
And apple's a nice addition, because it really is quite fresh, and it cuts through the dirty, earthy greens, you know, flavour that is naturally found in greens. Yeah. It's just the way it is. But it tastes really good. It blends well. It's easy to drink. You can make a green smoothie with it. You can have it on its own with water, a bit of coconut water too.
I like it with the coconut water. Yeah. And I also like to put some frozen fruit in it, because it's already got that apple flavour. Yeah. So it goes really well with frozen banana or really kind of anything. So it's a great one.
So I make like a little cocktail out of this with the greens. So I add frozen pineapple or fresh pineapple, not tin stuff. You can't have any tin stuff. It's got to be fresh pineapple.
Right.
Coconut water. It's like a pina colada. I swear it is.
When you said cocktail, I got excited there for a minute. I thought you were going to say you were throwing some vodka in there. And I was like, okay, this will be interesting.
Okay. Cocktails over here, mocktails over here. So yeah, try and that's something different that you can do. But pineapple also contains natural anti-inflammatories, so it's a great addition. But it cuts through that green flavour as well, so it just adds another level to it. But blend it with some ice and coconut water, and it's absolutely beautiful.
All right, well, let's talk about why.
Yes.
Why are greens so popular? Yeah. They've been around for so long, and what's their function? Like, why we need to tell our audience why they need greens.
Well, firstly, because we're not eating enough.
Yeah.
Because as science and medicine is showing us, people are not eating. I think it's like 3 in 5 adults and children are not eating their servings of fruits and vegetables every day.
I don't.
No, we don't. No. And we have days where we skip it. So, most people are not getting their amount. So they're missing macronutrients, micronutrients, and they're missing fats. They're missing, all the whole food nutrition that you would get from eating those foods. So
and this obviously goes really towards one of the biggest issues that women, or even and men, that women have, and that's bad gut health.
Yeah.
But a lack of microbiome, good bacteria, all of that, just because we're not eating right. Yeah. So when people say, do I need, should I be taking super greens? The answer is absolutely yes, you should.
And I'll tell you why, because what happens when you have super greens or when you eat fruits and vegetables, they create in your gut what we call short-chain fatty acids. And these short-chain fatty acids, they're like, tiny little microbes that, keep our little gut universe happy. But what they actually do when you eat this is the more you eat, the more they poop out other little short-chain fatty acids. So they create this chain reaction, these short-chain fatty acids, and you only, can create those when you eat or consume greens, fruits and vegetables. And that's why they're so important for gut health. So if you're not eating it, and we know that people that have, chronic disease states and they're not getting that nutrition, well, their symptoms are going to be worse. Yeah. So as soon as you change people's diet, and it's also been shown with kids with behavioural disorders and, ADHD and things like that, that their microbiome is not as diverse as it should be. So really, really important, that everybody, we start from when we're young, and because also the other thing too is the flavouring. So we are meant to eat sweet, sour, salty, bitter, right? And spicy. And what we're missing out of our diet is the bitter. So which is your greens, right? That bitter flavour. Yep. So of course, if you haven't eaten it your whole life and all of a sudden someone gives you some broccoli, you're just going to go, yeah. And that's what. So it's really important.
That's why it's important. You with from babies, like that parents, really give the children that taste from a young age. Yeah,
really important. Yep. And the other thing, greens have what we call so they're micronutrients. So a lot of people talk about macros and micros. So macros are your big ones. So that's your carbs, your proteins, and your fats, right? So most people know where we get those from. Hopefully you do by now. And greens are packed with your minerals, those really underpinning foundation principles of health. So they're your micronutrients, and they contain all sorts of vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that your body needs to function. Essential, to give you the foundations for health.
And protect the body from disease. Yes. That's what people get confused about. They don't don't understand the importance of micronutrients and minerals. And we've talked about this before, the difference between vitamins and minerals.
They're your building blocks.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So your foundation, I always compare it to like a house. If you've got a shoddy foundation and you haven't poured your foundation right, well, it's not going to hold up your walls and your roof. So if your body's foundation isn't correct, if your gut health isn't right, well, then how do you expect the rest of your body to function?
Yeah. The other really good thing about greens as well is the ability to be able to detox the liver.
Yes.
And a lot of people really don't understand the importance of this organ and its function. And so people can go all through their life without even thinking about their liver, never mind until something goes wrong, you know, or they say, when we talk about detoxing, it really is a generic term for detoxing the liver, because the liver is the organ that we want, the major organ that we want to make a priority for detoxing because of its function in the body.
It produces healthy red blood cells, it's energy, it detoxifies hormones, ladies. So this is why ladies need to have greens and make sure their liver is functioning. So a lot of women, don't understand that hormones are processed and excreted through liver pathways. So you need to make sure your liver is working absolutely as well as it can be. Really, really important. So,
and in this day and age, we've got more fatty liver disease or liver disease.
It's a modern disease.
It is. But it's a Western disease.
Absolutely.
And it's a man-made disease.
Or woman-made.
Woman-made disease. Absolutely. It's like diabetes and high cholesterol. Like these are all diseases that are prolific. In Western society,
you have to take a look at how your liver is functioning. So if you're still dealing with awful hormone imbalances, you need to also include your liver function as part of that treatment therapy, and that's where super greens can be amazing for you.
Yeah, a lot of our supplements in our range actually do have liver clearance or a liver function attached to it because it's so important.
Yeah, we need to be doing that. So, we can run through some of the ingredients or what it's for. So skin, so really, obviously, if your liver is functioning well, a lot of people that have skin issues, that to me, as a naturopath, is a clear indication goes straight to the liver and the gut. Those two pathways aren't working. They're not eliminating properly.
Now, one of the interesting things about skin, and this is exactly what you just said, skin is generally the first sign that there is something wrong internally, isn't there? Because when we have something wrong, our body, what's the first 3 or 4 ways that a body will excrete toxins? We can have a runny nose. We can have watery eyes. We can have pimples, that appear on the skin, which is, the skin diarrhea, which is another one. Vomiting. So all these,
it will come out.
It comes out, and what we quite often make the mistake of doing, or a lot of time, is we suppress those symptoms, and we stop the diarrhea and we stop the vomiting instead of allowing the body to continue to excrete, because it's saying something's wrong and I need to get it out.
Absolutely.
And then we take things to stop it from coming out, and so then it goes, well, I've still got it in me, so now it's got to come out some other way.
Absolutely. And that's usually the skin. It'll come out through that. So,
there we go.
So liver, skin, nutrition we spoke about, and hormones we spoke about. And some of the ingredients, I'll tell you a little story. Like the ingredients that are in our super greens is spirulina, kale, spinach, chlorella. And I wanted to talk about chlorella. So when I was back in practice many, many years ago, I was sort of known for the naturopath who, if you wanted to join the armed forces, like the police or something, they have to go through screening processes, right, to make sure that they're clean. So they can't be on any, whether it's recreational drugs or whether it's, nothing super harmful I'm talking about. But if you're on pharmaceutical medication or anything like that, and they can't be shown to have anything like that in their bloodstream, chlorella and greens was the treatment of choice with a vitamin C. So, and that I would guarantee, like within 4 weeks, if they were taking it correctly, they'd come back with a clean screen every time, and they'd come back and thank me, and that they'd got into the police force, or they got into, to be a fireman, or they got into to be.
So you were helping people basically fake their way in?
No, they turned a corner. They were living a better lifestyle. They made a decision to improve their life.
How to get a guaranteed clean teeth.
But that's how powerful this stuff is. Like that's what I'm getting to is, this stuff does, because it's got the acerola in it, it's got the vitamin C, you've got all that combination in here. So you don't need to take all these separate products. It's all here together.
And it tastes good.
Yeah, so if you really want to give your system an absolute boost for summer, you want to address your liver health, you want to improve your hormones, you want to get clear skin, you maybe want to look at your weight management, then, this is a great product that can do that for you.
I'm just looking here. I didn't realise that kale was, I know kale's like the superfood of superfoods. I didn't realise it was that rich in vitamins A, C, and K.
Surprising. Again, it's because it's these micronutrients that you're going to get out of these that people aren't aware of. You think, you can eat some carrots or something.
Well,
You're not
we've
gonna
got
get the
here
same
as
thing.
well, like kale contains, how do you say that?
Indole 3-carbinol,
Excellent.
which is your estrogen detoxifier.
There we go.
Right? So if women are, too high in their estrogens, whichever one that may be, Indole 3-carbinol is usually the product that you will be put on as a separate supplement, which is extremely expensive, by the way, ladies. Extremely expensive. Instead, you can get a whole tub of super greens.
Yep.
And put that into
I
your
love the
daily
fact that
diet.
it's got this as well, that we have the spinach, the classic spinach,
Yeah.
Every time I hear spinach,
I love
I still
spinach.
think of Popeye.
Always.
Yeah, Popeye the Sailor Man. Yeah,
Toot, toot.
absolutely. Yeah.
I love spinach.
Yeah.
Spirulina. Spirulina is a strong, green that's full of amino acids. Again, micro things,
Yes.
but essential for our foundational health
Yeah.
and going forward. And chlorella, as I said, the best detoxifier that binds to heavy metals. So also really good, and this is a tip for hairdressers. So hairdressers are exposed to heavy metals through the dyes that they use. I will always, and I always cringe if I see a hairdresser, especially dark hair dye. So if you're dealing, you must wear gloves because it is so toxic unless they're, organic, which, and henna, which would be fine. But a lot of them are chemical based, and hairdressers tend to have a higher rate of issues with regard to liver and kidney. So really important for hairdressers to be on stuff like this. And that's what chlorella is so good for. It is one of the most potent and best ingredients you can use for heavy metal detoxification.
All right. So when someone is taking, we always talk about with supplements, like how long to take things for.
Yeah.
And we no matter what product we're talking about, it's always a minimum of 90 days.
Yes.
You've really got to stick with that.
It takes 3 months for your liver to sort of, change over
And
your
this
liver
is
cells.
especially essential with something like super greens. So you have to see the like the long term or like the effects that it has on the body.
Yeah.
And then the changes are noticeable. Like you said, with weight management.
Yes.
Really curbing that appetite and those sugar cravings as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
The energy boost is really significant, I found. Obviously, we've got immune support because of all the ingredients in it. But bone health. Now, bone health is really important, especially as we age, ladies, because a lot of women going through menopause, another really common comment or a misdiagnosis is arthritis.
Yes.
When actually it's not.
It's just joint pain.
It's just joint pain.
And probably a bit of inflammation.
From menopause.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's
very common symptom.
It's a really common symptom.
We hear it all the time.
Yeah, and so bone health is really, really important.
Yeah. And because there's a lot of vitamin K in there too.
Yep.
That supports the absorption of vitamin D.
Yep.
So if you're outside walking in the sun, you get your vitamin K from here. Then
if you like celery, eat celery till the cows come home.
Good luck with that.
Because celery is great for bone health, high in sodium. How we talk about
silica.
all the different foods and vegetables that all relate to different parts of the body. Well, celery is for bones.
Yeah,
like walnut is for brain.
Like
tomato is for heart.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Your celery is for your bone health.
Yeah. Exactly.
Anti-inflammatory. Well, honestly, really at our age, or really anybody around the 50 mark, should be concentrating on eating anti-inflammatory foods.
Yes.
Because inflammation is the number one cause of nearly all diseases.
Precursor to all disease. Yeah. And, it's not that hard. I think initially for people to change over to healthy diets, it is one of the most difficult things for people to do, to change their diet, especially when they've eaten a whole lifetime of poor habits. But it is the one thing that will show significant change, and even in a short space of time, you can feel the difference. So if you can commit to it and you are dedicated to making those changes, you will notice the difference in your health, in your skin, in your vitality, in the whites of your eyes, in your brain health, and the way that you function and the way that you think, and also the way then that you handle stress.
Yes.
Right? Because stress creates inflammation too. So if you are healthier, then whether it's good stress or bad stress, it still has an impact on your health. So really important how we cope with stress that comes up in our daily life all the time.
And the other good thing as well, going back to what we said, because we've got it tasting so nice, even though it still has that tangy flavour to it, but we've got the apple, that mask, it's it's retraining your taste buds. So that as you are going through that change of, if you are, going through changing your diet to eat better and eat better foods, if you're having something like this every day, it's retraining your taste buds to accept those foods back in your mouth, without spitting them out or without
the more you have it, the more you crave it.
Exactly.
That's how it changes your taste buds. So the more you have good food, the more you'll crave it. I know when my kids come home for a visit, or they hear the first thing when I'll say, what do you want to have to eat, and we'll have a family dinner, the first thing they will say is, oh, can you make your salad? Can you make this salad?
Yes.
It's always something savoury.
Yes.
Because that's what they crave the most. That's what they miss. That's, something that makes them feel good and makes them feel well.
Yes.
So, so you too can crave your greens. And it's organic.
Yes,
Let's highlight that it is organic, because it's really important that this source of nutrition is organically sourced, because otherwise you're eating greens that are tainted with heavy metals, and that defeats the purpose. So, get onto the organic greens. Make sure you're having this incredible combination. It's got the vitamin C in there, as I said, which helps carry it, and also important to have fat. So make sure, ladies, that you're having some fat in your diet, like add an avocado in there for a smoothie, because the fats help transport this into the cell.
Yes, and also don't forget, fats. On top of that, because we're all about women's health, we've got the pre and probiotics in there as well. We were talking before about your macro and microbiome.
Right. Yeah.
So it's all there in one little tub.
It helps your gut poop better. And on that note,
your gut poop better.
Yeah, because there's little short chain fatty acids. Right. I always picture them in my mind, these little short chain fatty acids going la la la, having a lovely time. Out we go, boop boop boop. Boop,
to be in your brain sometimes.
Some weird stuff going on there.
All right, well that's our chat today. All about greens. Don't
forget to sign up to our newsletter for all our great specials. Don't forget to follow us on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, and stay tuned for all the exciting news that's coming your way.
All right. Bye, ladies.
Cheers, everyone.